It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling.
Hello. Today we're doing another episode of Draw Your Journal. If you don't know what Draw Your Journal is, it's my book that I wrote. It's available on Amazon, and you can buy it there if you want. It's basically supposed to be a creative diary, i.e. a place that you can draw about your life. This episode includes something special, because I'm going to be testing out these
magic puffy pens.
I saw these on Instagram Reels, and I immediately had to buy them on Amazon because they look so cool. They come in 6 neon colors, ages 3 and up, which is perfect for me. And if you add heat, they make the ink puff up like popcorn. I'm sure most of you at this point are saying, what the heck does that mean? Let's get into it. We have this little sticker thing. Neon, vibrant colors are my absolute favorite, and these are so bright. I'm in love. The pens themselves, I discovered, are actually more like tubes of paint. They're a little squishy. We need instructions. Step 1 says we have to squeeze the pen to apply the ink. I think that's all we need to know. Let's start with the purple puffy pen. I removed the cap and discovered there is a wax seal on top of it, and when you take it off, it starts oozing this gooey substance. It's not really like paint, it's thicker. Or maybe stickier, more viscous, I don't know. It's different. Because I don't trust myself totally to put this directly in my Draw Your Journal yet, we are doing a test case. So my hairdryer does not blow this away, I'm taping it down with some washi tape, and then I'm checking if this has dried. It has not, on both sides, still wet. I'm attempting to use my hairdryer on this, and nothing is really happening. You'll notice I added a heart, and the heart is actually a lot thicker than the line. It's kind of hard to tell, but the heart has way more paint, and that actually started to puff up. The zigzag line did not puff up at all when I applied the heat, but the heart did. So my lesson here is that you really gotta make it thick for anything to happen. I'm taking out my Draw Your Journal, and I'm flipping to the page that says, Draw Your Clouds. Now, you could interpret this page any way you want. You could say the clouds are representative of your mood. Maybe you're a rain cloud, or maybe you're a colorful, puffy cloud like me.
So fun.
Or you could even just draw your favorite type of cloud from science class. I'm a cumulus, because those are the fluffiest type and they look like they would be fun to lay in. Logically, I know you would fall through a cloud, but the Care Bears would beg to differ. The other thing you could do for this page is just come up with something in your life that you think is like a cloud that you like. For example, cotton candy, the Care Bears, the fluff in a stuffed animal, etc. I kept my concept to just a regular cumulus cloud because I really wanted to document the puffy pens themselves. The results are going to be puffy and clouds are puffy. Conceptually, everything is aligned. As I was hair drying this, you'll notice that I did put quite a thick amount of paint on this cloud. My experience with the test case really proved that you need a thick amount of paint for anything to really puff up. The paint needs to be dry before the puffying begins. And once it's dry, the heat from the hairdryer puffs up this weird gooey, liquidy substance. I don't know. I'm not a scientist and I don't understand how this works. All I know is that things start getting puffy. Almost like foam. The foam result is so thick it makes you feel like you could peel it off, but you can't. I wanted to see how much you could actually build up this foam and make it go even taller, so I decided to add even more puffy pen ink to the top of the cloud. We're attempting to make this cloud even puffier. After applying some heat, I discovered that yes, you can keep making this taller, but I wasn't gonna do that because this is in my Draw Your Journal and I want to still be able to close the page. Instead, I've decided to add on a rainbow to this cloud, but not just any rainbow. This rainbow is special because it actually does a cool flipping motion. You'll see what I mean in a second, but first I had a decision to make. I could keep the colors from mixing together by only applying one color at a time and then applying heat and letting it dry. Or I could allow the colors to mix together. I decided to opt for the blending mixing option because we haven't tried that yet, and I thought it would be fun with this paint in particular. It's so hard to explain the texture of this because it's not like paint. It's a little thicker than paint and more
gelatin-like?
Oh, maybe that's what it reminds me of. It's actually like Jell-O. It kind of reminds me of like the gelatin-ness of Jell-O before you put it in the fridge.
To harden?
I don't know. Basically, it's more slimy than paint. But for some reason, when it even touches the other paint, it starts to mix, kind of like paint mixes, but even more so, kind of like watercolors mix. The consistency of this stuff is perplexing and mildly concerning. It's very odd. But anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is, I'm creating a very blended rainbow here because I'm not allowing this stuff to puff up until the very end. And this is really cool, honestly. I'm looking at this and it looks so drippy. It reminds me of a Jawbreaker a little bit, just like the rainbow color of the inside of a Jawbreaker.
Very psychedelic, colorful.
Because at this point there is just like so much paint here, I had to take a while to actually dry this before anything started puffing up. As it starts to dry, underneath the first layer, there's like a bunch of goo stuck under the surface and it starts like moving around. Once everything is totally dry, that's when you'll start seeing this foam popcorn thing take effect. I thought mine wasn't working at first. I thought maybe I didn't have a hairdryer that got to a high enough heat. I even saw some people online saying they got better effects with heat guns. However, once I put my thing on high and just let it sit there, it actually puffs up really quickly. My theory is that this is all dependent on the temperature that the goo reaches. Once it hits that high temp, it all just will puff up right at once, but it takes a bit of patience to actually get it to the right temperature. But once you do, you have this fun, foamy crater thing. I feel like this is the type of thing that some people would think is absolutely disgusting, because I showed it to my husband and he was like, what the heck is this? This is so gross. But for me, I'm like, this is so cool. I don't know. It could go either way. At this point, I felt like I had done enough test cases and I really just wanted to have fun with it. So I decided to add a bunch of clouds to the background. The goal here was to place the clouds in a pattern that's pleasing to the eye. I also had several clouds around the page already, just as part of the prompt, and I covered those with some colors. The next thing I decided to do was add some polka dots to the background because I felt like it needed more colors. And this leads me to my one and only complaint about this tool. Aside from the obvious complaint that this might be disgusting to you, and it also doesn't create actually like beautiful artwork in my opinion, it just creates something that's fun. But those are the intentions of this, you know, we're trying to make something that's puffy, a little gross maybe to some people, but also kind of fun texturally. So that I can accept about this tool. The thing I don't like about it is that the pen is a squeezy pen. Ordinarily, I would be totally fine with a squeezy pen, but the pen is not easy to squeezy. It's actually, it's very difficult to squeeze, and my hand started cramping up. Granted, I do have to write with my right hand. I did break my wrist in 3rd grade and have terrible wrist pain since. We've been over it. But I had to take like so many breaks doing this page because my wrist kept cramping up. I was like, I cannot keep going. I felt like I was doing a workout. You know, those exercise things where you have to like keep squeezing your hand and like get your hand muscles more strong. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but I literally felt like I was doing that exercise. Anyway, a couple of other things that this reminded me of. Does anyone remember those candies with the dots that had like, they're like sugar candies, they're dots on a piece of paper, you peel them off.
And you eat them?
Obviously you eat them, it's candy, oh my gosh. The other thing this reminds me of is, would this be a good tool for people that are blind to write in Braille? I don't know, maybe it would, because it rises and then you have like these bumps. I have no idea if that would actually be feasible, but I thought it was a cool potential usage for these pens. I am so happy I got to try these Magic Puffy pens because they are just as fun as they looked on Instagram Reels. Apparently Instagram is a bottomless pit of unsearchable videos, so I cannot find the video that I originally watched when I saw these. But if you're interested in testing them out, I will link the one that I used in the description of this video. And here we have the final results of this page. I really enjoy it, actually. I feel like it does reflect my inner feelings about what a cloud is. To me, clouds are fun, they're fluffy, they're colorful, and maybe they're a little bit like cotton candy. If you'd like to see more Draw Your Journal videos, I have my playlist linked in one of these 2 boxes. I've actually done a bunch of different videos on Draw Your Journal, so you can listen to me talk about my diary if you like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye!